Hello, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Dr. Paul Nyende from Makerere University, a psychologist. So today I'm going to be discussing depression and the symptoms of depression. Depression is the most widely spread psychological disorder, but unfortunately, the general population, especially in Africa here, we don't seem to recognize the symptoms, and therefore several people, especially young people, continue to grapple with these symptoms that can be significantly disruptive. Depression can be a normal reaction to an experience of loss. We may be rejected by people we care for, or that we are unable to get what we need. And we often are able to get ourselves back on our feet even when we don't experience any formal therapy or intervention. Um, but it can also be extreme, and that goes into the area of clinical depression. The two may be similar in terms of symptoms, but the difference is that in a clinical depression, the symptoms are severe and last a long time. So today, people are more vulnerable to depression than before because of the pandemic, COVID-19, that has disrupted a lot of functions, including income, and created a lot of uncertainty. That, therefore, has increased um, vulnerability to depression. The symptoms tend to focus around withdrawal. Withdrawal is where somebody cuts off all social contacts and kind of prefers solitude, which also presents its own problems. Feeling low, feeling sad, feeling downhearted, discouraged, hopeless and helpless, or even useless and humiliated. Sadness seems to be the most predominant experience in a depression. Here in Africa, we often say that that's the way life is, but this is a serious mental health issue. So the depressed individual will often see himself or herself in a negative light. The problem has to do with the way you evaluate yourself, and this will have impact on your emotions and well-being. You tend to focus more on the negative side of things, and that will create a significant disturbance in your efforts to do better. Often, this is a distortion in one's views, a distortion in the view of the self, a distortion in the view of the situation, and a distortion in the view of the future. The future is seen to be hopeless and helpless, and therefore the person begins to feel that nothing makes a difference. The problem with this thinking is that it gives you the impression that your efforts are doomed, and therefore there is no need to take any action. And that's what worsens and deepens the problem. So the negative thinking definitely causes negative emotions or emotional disruption in the individual. It also leads to a reduction in motivation. It is harder for the patient to get started in the morning and get to do the things, the necessary things that he or she should do. There is a slowdown of physical activity, and of course, this is a result of a loss of energy, a loss of appetite, and eventually general debilitation of the individual. If you have these symptoms, it is critical that you seek professional help. Otherwise, the symptoms can be persistent and can do a lot of disruption, especially in the young person. Thank you very much for listening.